welcome to Red vs. Blue with Scott and Andrew.
Hey, Scott, what's going on, man?
Hey, Andrew, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I haven't talked to you in a while. It's been about 12 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's neat that you wanted to do this podcast with me, where we talk about politics and religion and disagree about it together and without throwing our shit at each other.
Yeah, that's true. I'm pretty excited about it. I like the idea of being able to talk about this kind of stuff without raging out on each other or guests that we're going to have out on the show. I think a lot of people are looking for that kind of thing, and I think it'll resonate well with people, that like to handle things maybe not, perfectly, but on a more mature level.
Yeah.
Because, I am the epitome of mature. I can tell you that much.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Me a little bit more, perhaps.
That's not even debatable.
This is a show about politics and religion and about how we can discuss these issues that we disagree about in ways that are constructive. And I think that today it's an important skill. It's an important thing to learn other people's points of view without lashing out at them. Andrew and I have had times. We're both Marine Corps veterans. We met each other during workups to deployment to Al-Assad, Iraq, in 2004, and we've been friends ever since then. And we've disagreed about politics and religion the whole time. So sometimes, we kind of got at each other's throats a little bit, but for the most part, it's really easy to talk to Andrew about these things. So we're trying to provide a model for the rest of America.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with that. I think it's really cool too, especially, and it reminds me when you were saying that, is that, and I think that's true for a lot of guys too. Like when guys start out as, new friendships or whatever, you tend to have like those real harsh knockdown dragouts before you become really good friends. Granted, our knockdown dragout wasn't over politics. It was over a video game that you were terrible at, and I was incredible.
We don't need to talk about that.
That's true. There's no point in me saying I'm incredible. Everybody knows that. So, moving on with a really good sidekick here, Scott Ferguson.
That was really just an incredible introduction.
Thank you. Full of humility.
Yeah, so, Andrew and I met in the Marines. I'm from Flagstaff, Arizona. I actually grew up as a Christian conservative. But interestingly, when I joined the Marines, I met a bunch of liberals, and they changed my mind about a lot of things. And I'm not as staunch on gun control. There are certain things where, I don't just toe the line. I'm interested in what's the best answers, and I think that Andrew is too. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Actually, this is our second recording because Andrew screwed up the audio on the first recording.
I did. Through no fault of my own, I forgot to plug a cord in, and we had static the entire time.
Yeah. Just too bad because it was priceless.
Oh, it was great, man. There were a lot of good moments. So hopefully they happen again.
Exactly the same way that they did the first time.
Yeah, for sure. And as a matter of fact, you stated that you grew up a Christian conservative, and I had completely skipped over that part of my, my upbringing. So I am a Christian. I am a conservative. So I think the really exciting thing about the show is going to be that I am your, I guess what a lot of people would refer to as a Bible-thumping Christian and some, moron Republican who voted for President Trump. And Scott is a raging liberal and
communist.
Scott is basically a communist.
Not actual communist.
Yeah, Scott loves communism.
So, he entered into voluntarily, Christian communes.
That's
communes,
true. Yeah,
they're really cool,
Yeah.
But they typically rely on funding from people that are in capitalist societies. So.
Yeah, you can't get away from capitalism.
No, it's very good. It's very useful. I just think we need to curb its excesses.
Yeah.
We can get into that in a little bit. What's the next thing on the agenda, Andrew?
So we were going to talk about
I don't
the.
have it on me.
Oh yeah, I've got it right here. So we were going to talk about the purpose of the show, like what we wanted to get out of it, and I think what we had spoken about last time, which basically we can, we could just rehash it, is that you hear, especially on debate shows or when people have debates, it's typically so that they can have the debate and people can say their point louder than the other person. Our goal here is to be able to debate sometimes funny issues, and sometimes really heavy issues, but the main thing is that Scott and I are really good friends, and we'd like to keep it that way. So our debates, whether we agree or disagree, always keep it civil. We don't, we're not into insulting each other, insulting guests when they come on, and I think you can certainly have lively debates and still be respectful to the other people, which that's probably one of my favorite things to witness, on TV or in person, is to see two people get into a debate and they're very respectful of each other. Both people are intelligent and articulate, and even no matter who you think won the debate, it's just so cool to see people treating each other the way that people should treat each other, which that doesn't really happen now. You get a bunch of people slinging crap,
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I wanted to get out of this show, and I'm really not that great of a debater, so I think this will help me a lot.
Me neither. Yeah, actually, Andrew and I have had a kind of a bad history of arguing, just in a kind of a nasty way sometimes, and so it's unfortunate, but luckily we didn't unfriend each other on Facebook, which, as we all know, is the ultimate diss.
That's true. That is, yes. That you've won the argument when you unfriend the other person.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes it is tempting, like if people are just like really nasty, like really just constantly posting things. It's like, oh God. Or but you can unfollow them too. So there's that option.
Yeah.
But typically I just like to hang on to the friends that I've got and see what they think. I think it's important to keep up with what everybody thinks, because these days with Facebook and Flipboard and Twitter showing you things that you're more likely to click on, it creates these bubbles and all this groupthink that it's kind of tough to get out of unless you actually have a conversation with somebody who disagrees with you. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I agree with all that. I think there is no good reason. If you're friends with somebody, there's no good reason to unfriend them unless you don't find that person to be good looking. Then unfriending them is a totally good reason. I mean, who wants unattractive friends? I'm just kidding.
He's half kidding.
Yeah, that's true. No, I'm totally kidding. So we've introduced ourselves, talked about our backgrounds a little bit, kind of what we wanted to do on the show, and we are going to get to a point where we're going to bring guests in. I think, like you and I talked about, it'd be a good idea to bring in, start with friends. Obviously, that's going to be the easiest way to do it because we don't really know anybody, big names.
Well, we've already scheduled our first guest.
We have. Should we say his name in this one or in the next one?
Oh, we should say it in this one too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hype him up, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure. And attract attention. We can feed off of his success and his fame. So
right. Brian. Oh, go ahead.
Brian Simpson is a comedian. He lives in Hollywood, but he was in the Marines with me and Andrew.
He is in Hollywood.
With Andrew and me. What's that?
Hey, he is in Hollywood. Living the high life.
He just got passed at the Comedy Store in Hollywood. The it's a big famous kind of #1 spot for comedians, and so now he's a paid regular there. So you can expect to see him on Conan and all those other
dude, that'd be awesome.
Shows.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be here first, right? Because he's choosing us over everybody else.
That's true. Brian sees the potential in
Yeah.
in our show. And the two people listening right now, my mom and your wife, are going to love that episode.
That's gonna be so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad we plugged it.
Yeah, and Brian, I imagine would it. I don't know. So we already know what our topics of discussion are going to be for next week, which we can get into later. But Brian, regardless of the topic, well, I don't know. I was going to say, regardless of the topic, that Brian is probably going to be on your side when he comes on.
Typically, I think he and I agree on most things. Certainly not everything, and we're always both continuing to learn. So he might know something that I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably not.
Do you?
No. But it's always these new things. You can't know everything, So it's like you're picking up things, and he's one of those people that I learn a lot from.
Yeah, Brian's very smart.
Like typically we agree, but then a lot of times it's like he's enlightening me about this, that, or the other. So.
Yeah, and he's a deep thinker, which I like. Brian takes a lot of time. Sometimes so much time that you think he's fallen asleep while he's thinking of a response to say. Do you remember that I lived with Brian?
Yeah.
For a year in Portland,
Oregon, right? In Hillsboro.
Yeah, right outside of Portland. It was awesome, and it was hilarious too because I don't I don't have anything against it. I don't care. I'm not a weed smoker, but Brian, good Lord, man, I think Brian smoked all of the weed. All of it. There was none left.
That's why everybody stopped smoking weed?
Yes, yeah, because Brian had smoked the last bud. This last bud's for you, Brian.
Yeah, go figure they would legalize it once there wasn't any left.
Of course. These damn Republicans. All right, so I got a list of topics that we'll be discussing going forward. This is gonna chew up a lot of shows, which is good. We'll have a large amount of stuff to discuss, and then
oh yeah,
I'm sure if people start listening to the show and they like it, they can email us and give us more topics. They can hit us up on Facebook or on Twitter or on the Instagram because we'll have pictures of me on there and stuff that people can look at, because people love looking at pictures of me.
Yeah, you got to be on the gram. That's what Brian tells me.
Yeah, Brian does say that. Brian does say you got to be on the gram.
Got to gram it up.
So we got this list of topics. We'll go through them. We don't have to get, in depth into all of them.
And also send us your questions, but also send us any criticisms too, or suggestions or whatever, because we're not perfect. We don't know all the answers. This is us kind of helping to, trying to help each other and help ourselves figure it out. So it'd be really cool if people sent in, criticisms of Andrew's arguments. So that...
yeah. To point out every single time I'm wrong, which will be every time.
Yeah, every email counts.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what I was going to say, which we discussed it last time, and I forgot to bring it up this time. But it is kind of a lot of these topics you can do a lot of research on, and you can come very prepared. But it's I think my debate style, which we said a little bit earlier, my debate style will be greatly helped out by this show alone, because I have
for sure.
Yeah, and I have a tendency to, even if I do know the material or the topic, even if I am educated on it, I tend to lose anything that I had in my head about it once I get flustered or somebody says something rude. And then it's like I don't know anything about it anymore because I'm just as pissed as that person.
And you never knew anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
I'm coming at you with all these things and you're like, So I try, it's going to be easier in this, I still get emotional sometimes, like heated. But for the most part, I feel like there are a lot of things that I think that I believe today that I'm sure I'm going to change my mind about. I'm sure I'm going to come to see the world differently over the course of my life. So there's no point in, staking this claim like forever. Like absolutely true. Yeah, it's better, and it'll be nice with this because we're structuring it around civil discourse. So
Yeah.
I think I don't. Yeah, it'd be hard to get upset.
Yeah, I really don't see that happening. I mean,
Except with guests, you never know. Some guests, you never know.
yeah, it doesn't matter how.
We'll have to mute them.
Right. Yeah. And all the work that it's taken me just to learn how to get us to be heard, it'll take me another 2 weeks to figure out how to mute them.
No, I don't know. I think we're building a good kind of system here. I think it'll be easy for the guests too. So
yeah, I foresee probably the worst of it being like what? Come on, man! You can't be serious. I would foresee that being like the worst of it,
Right. Yeah.
But okay, so we can go through these topics. This should be interesting. Okay, so the right to bear arms has its limits.
Yes.
Now, I would say no, but the last time I said no, you said everybody gets a nuclear bomb. That's ridiculous. So, okay, well, yeah, it's got its limits.
Yeah, see? But it's important to note that that's a concession that's already been made by Andrew.
Right.
So don't lose track of that. That's 15-0.
But I do want to note that shows open-mindedness on my end, so I've just gained 17 points for that. 17. The judges have spoken. Okay, so, but, just to really quickly say, I do believe that, and I said this last time, because you had asked me, you were like, well, what about, rocket launchers and stuff? Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I think people...
rocket launchers.
People walking around with satchel charges.
People could take out, like, airliners with those things.
Hey, that's the cost of, being
that's
free.
That's the cost of airfare.
Yeah, that's right. Your airline tickets might cost $12, but there is a humongous chance you'll get shot out of the sky on your vacation to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
So
okay. So, but see, he's honest about the implications of his crazy beliefs.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So next one, climate change is mostly caused by human activities.
Yes.
I don't think so, and I don't have anything to back that up. It sounds. I just
side with the experts.
Yeah, being God and
and Jesus.
And Jesus.
Baby Jesus.
Right, and Emperor Trump. So, I don't I don't believe that it's caused by human activity.
Hey, is it Jesus first or Trump first?
Oh, Jesus for sure. Absolutely.
Really?
Yes. I don't respect Trump over Jesus. Come on. That was a pretty funny question. Okay. The government should take from the rich and give to the poor.
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
no.
We shouldn't even have poor people.
I mean,
like so many of them just got, they didn't have health insurance, so then they got some cancer or something, and now they owe $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, I could see where you're coming from. But what about the poor people that are poor because they're really not doing anything?
Well, a lot of times that's, veterans who
That's
went to
true.
war,
yeah,
didn't get taken care of. There are all sorts of reasons, stemming from bad childhood experiences, shitty parents, to malnutrition or whatever, that make it more difficult for people to, make it in today's society. So we got to help some people find the opportunities, connect them with those opportunities, and that takes money, and so we have to, I don't know. Some people are so rich that it's impossible that they could have actually earned that. They could actually put that much hard work, that much effort and time into society. If you're a billionaire, it's because you're leeching society. You're leveraging everybody else's efforts, and you're being over rewarded for those efforts. While we got other people who are working 50, 60 hours a week, and they're poor. They're under the poverty line, and so it's like this living alongside each other. We have the non-working rich and the working poor, and so that's what capitalism does if you just deregulate and cut taxes and don't do anything, so that's why I think it's necessary to curb for those excesses. But anyway, we've got way off line there.
Yeah.
Way off. Yeah.
All I'll say to that is I do think there should be, dude, there's got to be a different way to say it and a different way to put it out there than take from the rich and give to the poor. Because nobody really, I can see what you're saying, but nobody's really worked on a different approach to the same idea. Nobody's worked on a different way to say it, because that just sounds.
I think that is the different approach, is to say that they never could have earned that much in the first place. To say that it's theirs, that you're taking what's theirs, is just, they deserve to have that in the first place.
Well, that's
they were
kind of
born with it. All they've done is fucking get drunk and do coke. And
I don't know that all they do.
Sorry, we're gonna be sparing with the language. I do.
All they do is get drunk and do coke. You know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of Obama's "You didn't build that." remember what his "You didn't build that" line, and that became like a big meme and a big point of contention.
Oh, you didn't build that. Obama said that to somebody?
Yeah, well, he said it in a speech.
It sounds familiar.
It was in a speech. He said, "You didn't." He was talking about the people with these big businesses, and he was like, "You didn't build that," and somebody else, built it for him and helped him, and that became.
Okay, sure.
That was a huge. I think just saying that pissed a lot of people off. So I don't know.
Yeah, of course, because it's true. But we got to be honest about it. These people are sucking the economy dry and then they don't even want to pay taxes on these billions. Then once you make that much, then you got to store it offshore so that you don't have to pay anything in taxes.
Crime really does pay.
The rest of us are paying like a quarter of our salary, and these people are just like, no, nothing.
I know. Yeah, there's no way for us to get around it unless we just get highly involved in crime, which does pay, by the way.
If it's white collar, you're good.
Yeah, that's true. Blue collar crime. Okay, so the next question will be, you can't be good if you don't believe in God.
Yeah, certainly. I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. There's really nothing to talk about there. So, okay. Healthcare should be a right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's the best way to argue for universal healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, a lot of people talk about rights like they're these things in the sky that, just actually are things that exist, but, rights, we get the rights that we fight for. It's meaningless to say that I have a right to healthcare if, there's no way for me to get it.
Right.
Or a right to life or anything. If it's being denied to you by other humans, so rights are things that we get through the laws that we create and pass and, decide that we all decide, we want to have. So,
yeah,
but I know that people don't like hearing it like that. So I think it's best to argue in terms of cost.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a tough one for me. Because most of the time when people say healthcare should be a right, the first thing that people think of that don't want it to be a right is that it can only be a right if I'm paying for it. If I'm paying for somebody else to have it, which makes it pretty contentious issue.
Mm-hmm. So do you think, because currently we end up paying for emergency room visits, do you think that they should just refuse people if they don't have proof of insurance?
No. I probably do think it should be a right, but I don't think it's being financially handled correctly.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. But I don't have any idea. I have no solution.
I think we got to take the middlemen out of it. The insurance companies and all the competing. If we like Medicare, the overhead for Medicare is like 1 or 2%. It's super low compared to private medical insurance and private providers. we could save a lot, and that's all like it's less efficient, first of all, and second of all, it's duplicated for every single one of these competing firms.
Right.
So it's all sorts of waste involved in that, and then fewer people get covered. And it's true that it's amazing healthcare if you're rich, but again, that's where you got these people who've essentially convinced a large portion of the population to support things that are not in their best interests. It's like, hey, no, 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 let the rich, all the super wealthy people keep all of their money because they earned it.
Yeah, I guess
some people really believe that. So
yeah, once that boat started rowing downstream, it hit the rapids at some point, and it's real hard to turn it around. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, just taxation in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so what's this next one? President Trump is mostly honest.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I don't think he's a liar as people would put him. Because you associate someone being a liar with like real it's the same. It's semantics, obviously. So if he's not telling the truth, he's lying.
Like white lies,
right? But you would still, it's still a lie. So calling it a white lie or a lie. All I'm saying is I don't think this is a deeper issue, because you would say President Trump is mostly honest. Somebody would say no, so they think he probably lies about everything. I, on the other hand, know that I don't know. I would suspect he's told, quite a bit of lies. I don't know what about. I know there's some things where you're like, oh, yeah, he probably is lying about that. But
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I was just going to say, but a lot of the stuff that I feel like he's lying about, I don't care. I don't care. So, because it is, it's obviously it's happened because, and a lot of people get like this. You get entrenched. You see all these other people who, see that you support President Trump, and they're like, oh, you racist, homophobic piece. And so you're like, oh, now I really support Trump, because no one's going to tell me I'm that when I'm not,
Yeah, so you assume it's the same nonsense being spouted, because you get the same thing with Fox News about Obama.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And like, oh, he's this Muslim and he just wants to institute Sharia, and he wasn't even born here, and like all this nonsense.
Yeah,
and he ran a really scandal-free. There was like Trump had him beat in scandals after like the first week.
Which I don't care. That just doesn't bother me. But yeah,
Sure.
Obama on Trump doing the whole what's the birther thing.
Yeah,
that annoyed the hell out of me. I mean,
well,
yeah.
The worst thing about that is that he has since taken the credit for having resolved that situation.
Right.
Because Obama released his long form birth certificate, like a more detailed one than any other president.
I know.
It's like, and then he was like, all right, well, you're welcome, America, for me making that up and then also making it not a thing anymore. But the worst thing is that his followers, like my mom, still thinks that as of a year ago, still thought that, that Obama wasn't born in the United States.
Right.
Right? So Fox News doesn't correct any of this. They're like, oh yeah, that conspiracy theory that we were like headlining all day every day for months.
I think
they don't need to know that it's not true. Right.
Well, I certainly don't. I do enjoy watching Fox News, but I certainly will not sit here and say that they're an arbiter for absolute truth. And unbiased, fair and balanced, objective, unbiased reporting. I know how it works. I know, that MSNBC's on the left, Fox is on the right, and
MSNBC never lies.
Right, so. They never lie. They've never had one person lie But okay, so we can go to the next one. And all this stuff will be in later shows where we can actually get to the meat and potatoes of it. We can come prepared for a debate, and then you'll just have a box of tissues so you can wipe your tears. So I just got a point for that cut down. Actually,
you're gonna need tissues when you watch Who Was America. Have you seen any of those Sacha Baron Cohen videos?
No.
You never even heard of it?
No.
Dude, he pranks Joe Arpaio. He even does Bernie Sanders and Barney Frank. Although they're just not idiots. It's such a clear distinction between those two, but then some of the artists in Hollywood were really, really stupid. You know, so he tries to get both sides, but really he got Roy Moore big time. He got Sarah Palin so badly that she sued, and so he can't even air it.
She sued.
Yeah, so who knows what kind of stupid stuff she said.
Yeah, Sarah Palin. I'm not. No,
this is very. It's very surprising what some of these people do. And it's because of the polarization and all the crazy news out there.
Yeah.
So
and obviously, we're not there right now. I'm sure we'll have 16 million followers here in the next couple of weeks, but apparently when you're so big and you have so many followers, you can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter if you're lying, if you're wrong. They don't seem to. It doesn't matter to them at all. They don't care.
We're gonna have some offline conversations about what to tell our followers.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. On how to coach them. Yeah. Okay, so. Next one is Caitlyn Jenner is beautiful.
Oh, well, in the sense that everybody is beautiful on the inside.
Right. I would say no, but I would say that's more sad than anything. Your person's, in my opinion, sick.
Yeah, sad that she spent most of her life feeling like the wrong
gender.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's so, all the power to her.
What? ZHE is now.
G.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I remember that. That's so I thought you were being bigoted, but that's the new thing.
Yeah, apparently it is the new thing.
Okay. G. All right.
Okay, so marriage should be between a man and a woman.
Should, not should.
Right.
Yeah, shouldn't be restricted to men.
Yeah, in my opinion, just because of my beliefs, I believe that a man marrying a man is wrong, or a woman marrying a woman. But
wait, but you said that you believe that because of your beliefs.
Right, yeah, I feel that it's wrong. I don't understand. Oh, I'm being redundant? Is that what you're making fun of?
Tautological. It's a tautology to say, I believe it because I believe it.
Oh, I just learned a new word.
It's like,
we'll have to cut that part out.
I'm using it correctly. Make sure I'm using it correctly first.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. But I also don't think that people should be, trying to restrict it. Let them do what they're going to do.
Oh, right. So then you would vote for somebody who was in favor of marriage equality over somebody who wanted to restrict that right from other people.
I remember you asking me.
Everything else was the same?
Yeah, I remember you asking me this. Everything else is completely identical, right? And then there was one where the guy was like, he wanted to restrict same-sex marriage. Then there was the guy who was like, I don't know, it's fine. Everything else identical, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably vote for the guy that wanted to let it be. Yeah. And that's an
awesome, dude.
You heard it here first. Okay, so let's try to burn through some of these.
Christians are changing on that issue.
I don't know if I don't think I've ever changed on it. I think I've always felt that way. I've always thought it was wrong,
sure.
But I just don't.
A lot of people. That's another issue where, just because you identify as a Republican, that you must be, or if you identify as a Democrat, then you must be, pro-choice.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
A lot of these issues, people are different, and it's so
kind of crossover.
I think it does a disservice to just try to put everybody in a slot and then say that the independents are just wishy-washy.
Yeah, that's true. Those stupid independents, man.
Yeah.
Okay, physician-assisted suicide is wrong and should be illegal.
No. No.
Yeah, I don't believe that either. Remember what I told you last time, that they should be they should be able to do it by any means necessary.
Oh yeah, that's right. And that you wanted that job?
Yeah. So the person wants me to do it with a 44 Magnum. So be it. Would you be able to do that job?
No. I mean, oh, it would be so, it's tough to say.
Yeah.
That I would never do it if I was, if I'm starving to death or something.
Yeah,
or
you need a job.
Being coerced or whatever. Who knows what I might do, but, holy shit, man. It's a good thing there's no jobs like that in the United States.
I know, but remember I told you I would do that job and I would have like cool action movie one-liners. Like the guy'd be like, "Please take me home," and I'll see you in hell, McCready.
And would you let them pick the one-liner, or would you just impose your one-liner on them, whatever happens?
I'd impose my one-liner. I'd send him out. I'd send him out with a bang. Oh yeah, I think that'd be cool. Okay.
That's Andrew the Christian.
That does seem awfully Wait, but I'm doing it because they want me to. Although
that was actually lost on me and all of that. I forgot that they were the willing.
That's true. I am.
Well, in that case, I could probably do that job. That's really, because these people are about to die, right?
Yeah.
You can interact with them and impose one-liners.
Remember, I can't remember. It was a long time ago. We were talking about how we would want to die, and I told you I wanted to be ripped apart by a pack of rabid lions, and you said, "Well, why do they have to be rabid? What's?" Yeah, that's a good point. I guess because they'll do it faster. They're angrier.
It might make them create more nuts. Yeah. Otherwise,
you don't want them just kind of chewing on you and delectably picking off little pieces.
Yeah. They have to totally fight over it.
Just tearing you to shreds. Yeah. Okay.
That's true.
Okay, so we can.
You're so insightful, Andrew.
Thank you, Scott. That's why I'm on this show. That's why the people have called me to be on this show. Okay.
We got elected for this.
We did. There were how many other candidates for this show were there? Between you and me?
Detail. We
don't want to get into that. Okay, so United States of America is the best country in the world. Or best country in human history, sorry.
Yes.
Yes, I agree. We live in a post-racial society.
No.
Yeah, I don't agree. We need a viable third party.
Yes.
I agree. I just don't think it'll ever... I mean, maybe it will. I just don't think it would ever happen.
Things change a lot.
Such a mountain to climb.
Yeah, but people are getting so sick of each party.
Yeah, that's true.
They elected your boy, so that means everybody's pretty.
President Trump.
Pretty. That's better than Emperor, I guess.
He is amazing. So let's go to the chances of a nuclear attack occurring somewhere in the world within the next. It got cut off. I think it's within the next 10 years.
Right. Yeah, I think like 50-50. Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that there hasn't been one since 9/11. To be honest.
Yeah, and I remember I was with you on this one. I thought, I certainly don't think it'll be from launching nukes. That'd probably be a dirty bomb or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, hopefully, who knows?
Yeah. Trickle-down economics works.
Obviously not.
I think it works. I think that it's got a lot of pitfalls, but I think that
like the wealth literally trickles down instead of like
pouring down.
Have some sort of constant stream. It's
you want wealth just pouring down to everybody. I don't know if that, I don't know if that would ever.
I think I just think it's funny that they call it trickle down because that's definitely
Because what it's doing, yeah. It's trickling down like frozen water running down a mountain.
Yeah, exactly.
Legal immigration is bad for American workers.
No,
I don't think so. The federal government should require background checks for all gun purchases.
Yes.
I don't think they should ever require a background check.
Not even for rocket launchers?
No, not at all.
So, because, there are people who, like, the state takes over their finances because they're incapable of managing their own finances. These people should be able to have a rocket launcher?
Yes.
So you must disagree with the state taking away, taking control of their finances too. Even if other people are just like taking advantage of them because they're delusional or whatever.
You know what I think is the state should appoint I don't understand how that works. Isn't there an opportunity to appoint a loved one or someone close to them as being in control rather than the state being in control of it?
Oh yeah, of course. If they have somebody.
Okay,
not everybody does.
But if they don't, the state just has complete control over it?
Yeah, it's for the best,
interest of that person,
of the patient.
Yeah,
it's patient care.
What do you think? How honest do you think that it? Do you think it's actually pretty?
People don't want to do this to their patients.
Yeah.
Like some psychiatrists have to take. My wife is a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm.
She has to see. Almost entirely active duty who, they've got like PTSD or whatever.
Right.
A lot of them have guns. And so, that's a whole nother issue where they want to kill themselves. She's like, anyway, all of the, prescriptions that are actually really helpful, unless you're also drinking, but then they always lie about the drinking.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's a tough situation for the physicians and all of this. And so like, they don't like to strong arm their patients. It's only a last resort kind of thing. And so anyway.
That's funny too. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen a psychologist or counselor or anything, but it's funny when you get to the question because you always are running through your head. What are the questions they're going to ask that could get me in trouble? And so they're like, when do you have guns in the home? And you're like, yes. Well, I mean, they're locked up though. I mean, but I don't even think about them. I mean, I've never even looked at it. So you're like scrambling to get an answer that's honest, but won't get your guns taken away.
Yeah, I did that with the Marines when I joined the Marines.
Really?
I admitted to smoking pot, but I didn't want to admit. I figured there was some like cutoff, like maybe like 10 was too much, so I said that I did it 9 times.
Yeah.
But it was way more than
that. Mr. Ferguson, when was the last time you smoked marijuana? When I was 18 months. I was 18 months old and I smoked a joint.
Yeah, no, I buckled and told them because I was afraid I was going to pop on the piss test. Cause, I don't know if you remember at MEPS.
Yeah.
They have a MEPS in Colorado, probably in Denver, I guess.
Yeah, they had it.
Mm-hmm. And, they were like spreading all these rumors about like, oh, they can tell every time down to the day that you did it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But it's funny because if that's what scared me, then why did I lie about how many times I've done it? It's like I only half believed it. So I half admitted. It's so crazy.
That is so funny, man. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so artificial intelligence will be a good thing for humanity.
I think so. Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things. Who knows? I mean, because everything's so, all the data, how important data is,
mm-hmm.
and like securities, and
yeah.
Like I think of like Fight Club,
Yeah.
Like people trying to do stuff like that. It seems like it's becoming more and more possible.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I agree. I think it'll be a good thing. The chances of another the chances of another recession in the U.S. in the next 2 years is greater than, I imagine this says 50%.
Oh, yes, I think so. I think it is. Yeah.
I don't think so. We can add that one to our debate list.
Right. Yeah, we gotta.
All kids in the United States receive the same quality of. What should this question have? Oh, they
Supposed to say
should.
should receive. Yeah.
Okay, all kids in the U.S. should receive the same quality of K-12 education.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, everyone but black and Mexican kids should have great education. And then, well, of course, yeah, everybody should. I wonder if there's anybody out there that honestly would say, no, absolutely not.
The thing is that the way they have it set up is that, funding for school districts is based on property taxes.
Yeah, for sure.
In those areas. So the rich kids get the rich schools.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it works. Poor kids get less funding because they have less property tax
to pay for stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's how it is. But they ought to have everybody just, it should be one national centralized education fund that gets dispersed to each school based on how many kids they've got.
Yeah, I think I could get on board with that. Community college and vocational training should be available to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially people out of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
can put them to work. We can put them on, on the job training kind of stuff where they're actually being productive and learning things. Yeah.
You are being specific here. Community college, right? Not university.
Right.
Okay.
That seems too expensive to me.
Gotcha. Okay. I agree with that. Corporations that ship jobs overseas should lose their corporate citizenship.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Some people deserve to be billionaires.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I don't think anybody deserves to be a billionaire.
Not enough hours in the day.
Hell exists.
No.
I think it does. Maybe not in the, like we said last time. Maybe not in the what you
I think
might...
it does, like in the mind.
Oh,
like heaven and hell, you can experience both of them. Humans are susceptible to, or able to experience an extremely wide range of good and bad experiences, and they get, heavenly and hellish.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I also do think hell exists, but in a different, it may
you mean
not
something
be...
for like the soul after you die or something.
Right. Yeah, but and I think it's separation from God as opposed to what, a line of people jumping in a lake of fire. I don't know if that's what I believe.
We'll have to get some it'll be fun. We'll get people on here, friends, some of them will agree with me and we'll team up against Andrew. Some of them will agree with Andrew, they'll team up against me, and we'll have a good time. We'll constantly be challenging each other's views. It'll be good.
I wonder if anybody will disagree with both of us. It's probably going to happen.
Definitely. Yeah. Hopefully.
Okay. Yeah. We are all souls temporarily attached to bodies.
No.
I can't. Yeah, you explained that last time. I can't remember what it was, but I do believe that.
It's the idea that we're just something that's like riding in our bodies, instead of being the body itself.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just one thing real quick. Like we typically think of like when we go to heaven or whatever, like we're gonna recognize, our family, and we're gonna be able to understand language and things like that. But we know that if you knock out certain parts of the brain, you can still be there, but not be able to recognize faces or not be able to understand English or speak English anymore.
Right.
So it's like, it seems to me that it's all in the brains. All in the brains.
All in the brains. Yeah. Actually, so I do think that souls are attached to bodies, but, we can get in that one too. Free will is an illusion.
Yes.
I think free will is real. Uh,
Given to us by the creator of the universe. Right?
Correct. Okay, so the next question is: Bernie Sanders would have beat Donald Trump if he had won the Democratic primary.
Yes. Definitely.
Oh man, that one's tough.
Don't you disagree with me on this, Andrew?
That's a tough one, man. I don't think so. But I have no.
I'm a Bernie bro.
You are a Bernie bro.
Yeah.
You're a brony.
That guy.
Yeah. I just have nothing to, substantiate my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was killing him in the polls, constantly doing better than Hillary was. So I think he would have beat Trump by even more than Hillary did.
But then again, you do got to remember, they were saying that Hillary was crushing him in the polls too, and
she only won by 3 million votes.
Well, she didn't win.
She won by 3 million votes.
No, she didn't. She lost the Electoral College.
Well, right.
So she lost.
No, of course, it's true.
Okay. Hillary Clinton would have made a great first woman president.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure any women that listen.
Go ahead, sorry.
Any women that listen to this episode are going to be like, "Oh, what a couple of sexist pigs."
Yeah, she'd have been a million times better than Trump, and so that's why I voted for her. But I would like Elizabeth Warren or Kamala Harris or somebody.
Sarah Palin.
Even those, I'd like I do like Elizabeth Warren, somebody who's like anti-establishment.
Yeah.
Be a really awesome first woman president, not somebody who's just basically identified with these things.
Right.
She is the establishment. That sucked.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think she would have been a great first woman president. Alcohol and cigarettes are both worse for you than weed.
Yes.
I agree. President Trump is having an overall positive effect on the country.
No, not even a little. Mm-mm.
I think he is.
Except the blue wave in November. We can thank Trump for that.
Yeah, well, I know you think it's coming, but as a matter of fact, I'm not even going to say that I don't think it's coming because I hate when it's like football games. People are like, oh man, the Cowboys are going to crush them this week, and then it doesn't happen.
That's what we got to do now. We're talking heads now. We have to do that.
Oh yeah, that's true. We have to make.
We're gonna have to make predictions, and then we're gonna have to do that, and then whoever gets closer wins.
As a matter of fact, I'll make predictions, and then if my prediction is wrong, I'll come up with a bunch of reasons why it's not my fault. That's what I'm gonna do every week in and week out.
It might not be your fault, but you were still wrong, and so I'll get the points.
No, even then I won't be wrong. If it's not my fault, I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
No,
actually,
the power of the Lord has made me right. Okay, let's see. President Trump should stop tweeting.
No.
I think he should tweet better. That's all I'm going to say.
No.
He should just get better
That's
at tweeting.
Perfect.
Political correctness has gone too far.
Yes.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Yeah, for sure. It's a turnoff for the Democratic Party, Yeah. It's like, that's all you guys care about? It's like what you're allowed to laugh at? That's...
It's bizarre to me that I've never come in contact in real life with a person that was as politically correct and offendable as I have with what you see online. I've never.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I may have over the years, but it's so rare. And so why do you see so much of it online?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's you're like a different person online. It's like an alter ego.
Yeah.
I got a Twitter account. When I first started kind of getting ranty myself because I didn't want to expose all my Facebook friends stuff.
Yeah.
But I wanted to be angry, so yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's something in us that feels good to just like.
Yeah. So I agree with that too. So the next question is: President Trump works harder than President Obama did.
Like on his golf game?
I knew you were going to say that. I think he works harder, but that's going to be
What is he? He's always on vacation at his resorts.
always is a blanket statement, Scott, and it doesn't help anybody.
Well, then he shouldn't always do it.
Oh God, here we go. That's gonna be a cool debate because it's gonna be so subjective.
No, it's not, dude. There are numbers involved in this, and there are tweets from him saying Obama spends all of his time. If I was president, I'd be working every day. I wouldn't have enough time to play golf. And he's constantly
there's true. There are numbers of him playing golf, but you can't just because of that you can't negate what he is doing, and then you have to quantify how hard of work that is. We have to be able to quantify the work that they did do into how hard of work is that. And of course, I'm going to be like, oh, that's real hard. And you're going to be like, nah, that would take 2 minutes.
Well, yeah, I mean, judging by, how long it takes you to edit these videos.
Oh, dude, President Trump is the hardest worker on the face of the planet. Okay, so here we go. President Trump is making good on his promise to drain the swamp.
No.
Yes.
I mean,
very good.
Very good. Yeah. Okay. All right. See, everybody, we disagree.
We do disagree. I do think it's a little swampy in there, but yeah, it's better than what it was.
Better than what it was.
American football is the best spectator sport.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree.
Oh man, it's so fun.
It's back on, man.
What?
It's back on. It's exciting.
Yeah. I had a pretty good fantasy. Well, nobody wants to hear about our fantasy teams. Okay, go ahead. Are you even playing fantasy? Just real quick.
No, I've never played fantasy football in my entire life.
Well, then you don't want to hear about it either. Okay.
Okay, here we go. People are funnier, smarter, and more physically impressive than they used to be.
Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. People make too big of a deal about protecting the environment.
No.
So before I said yes, obviously, because it kind of falls in line with, the side of the aisle that I'm on. But now that I think about it, I don't think they make too big of a deal because, I really do care about the environment. I'm not so much that people shouldn't be driving around diesels. I'm not that guy. But I do, I do think that everybody should make a conscious effort to take care of, what they have domain over.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's on every individual. We can't be Nazis about it, but
right.
It's really about, large, pharmaceutical and chemical manufacturers and, people who've got all these terrible, and it's a whole lot cheaper for them to just dump it.
Right.
Yeah. And so there are these negative externalities associated with their operations, and they want to just dump it on us.
Yeah.
That's what the Koch brothers are all about. That's all they want. They just want to be able to pollute without any encumbrance from the government, and it's like, wait, but people have to drink the water that's going to seep into, but they just don't care, I don't know. It's probably,
yeah.
I'd like to think that it wasn't that simple, but it certainly seems like it is.
Maybe it's not though.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so and as a quick side story to that, there was a girl that I was interested in. This is back in my early, probably mid-20s. There was a girl I was interested in, and she might have liked me. I'm not sure. I'm oblivious to that kind of stuff anyway. But she came to watch I was in a band, and she came to watch us practice, and I said, do you want a beer? And she said, yeah, sure. So I grabbed 2 Bud Lights, and I took the tops off, and I flicked them with my thumb. I flicked them off into the distance, and they landed in the parking lot somewhere. And she seemed fairly offended and said, the world is your trash can, huh? And I went, and I said, yep, sure is. And never talked to that girl again. So people do take it seriously, apparently.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, so there is a price to be paid.
I paid a high price for litter that day.
Good.
Very high. She could have. I could have married that girl.
What I don't know how old you were then. I was pretty young.
I think I was 25.
Important at the time.
Yeah,
I was 25.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Let's see.
Andrew and I, by the way, we knew each other 15 years ago, basically.
Man, it has been a long... Dude, that's crazy how long it's been. That's nuts. It doesn't feel like it's been that long.
You got out in 06? Is that...
Yeah.
the year. Yeah, I got
Yep.
out in '07. So
Man, that's crazy. Uh, Here we go. Okay, so Islam is a religion of peace.
well, I mean, not only it's definitely that too, but it's also yeah, totally like just the words
Mm-hmm.
in the sacred text. You know, they're too easily taken advantage of by people who, you know,
Right.
want to inflict violence on people. So
I would
I don't know.
imagine.
Yeah. Well, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I would imagine there is. You could liken it to, a lot of people would say that, the text tells the believers to smite the necks of non-believers, Christians, all that kind of stuff, and
Well,
it's
infidels. Yeah, I don't think it
infidels.
ever calls out Christians. Maybe it does.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. But you could, so like you said, I think it makes it very easy for people to say, I need to go, cut these people's heads off, or I need to go kill these people. Probably the same way that but those people already have something in their heart leaning toward that. I feel like those people are already that way.
Well, they're that way because their parents
Uh
believe what they believe, and they raise their children, Christian children, with just the same.
right.
You know,
Well, yeah,
they
because
went off into the Crusades to just go kill people because they could reap the spoils.
that's
So,
a
and
debate we need.
if they died, it was a holy crusade, so they went to heaven. So
That's a
easy
debate we
drum
need
up
to
support
have.
for something like that. But
Yeah.
they probably, yeah, I mean, weren't all just bloodthirsty people, but hey, you just pull their strings enough. That's what's happening. I mean, Muslims are, they have all the same positive and negative capacities that any other human has.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just,
for
I mean,
sure.
these are people from the West too, like white people, like John Walker Lind, who
Mhm.
joined the Taliban
Yeah.
from Orange County. So it's like ideas get into people's head, and I think that one thing I don't like about Christianity is that it says that what's really important is what happens after death.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens to these people too,
Right.
So they think they're going to paradise or whatever. Well, it doesn't help when we assert our claims about the afterlife too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like then it's just this fight about some two things that might not even exist.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. That's gonna be. I think it'll be a cool debate, especially if you try to add in where you would have, if you had a Muslim and a Christian debating, they both think that their faith is the more correct faith, and so the debate, maybe we could have that one with somebody who is a Muslim, or that person may be able to shed light on.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And of course, it's not just they're all different. They're different kinds of Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Some of which think that the other is going to hell.
For sure,
whatever
yeah.
reason. But then there are different kinds of Muslims too, like Sufis are like a mystical sect of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't take any of the violence seriously. It's all about this inner jihad of like self inquiry and awakening and all of that, and it's like really in tune, really in line with like Buddhism and Hinduism and mystical like Christianity and stuff too. So
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't just blanket anybody.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Black Lives Matter.
Yeah. Well, obviously, I just thought that you might say something like, "Well, so do white lives."
No.
But it's not tempting for you to say that?
No, because I'll just say Black Lives don't matter. No, I'm just kidding. No, they certainly do matter. Of course. I think the whole dude, I can't stand the movement of White Lives Matter too. I can't stand like burning. I'm going to burn my Nikes. I'm going to, turn off the NFL. I don't really care about any of that stuff. I think the Black Lives Matter movement itself is ridiculous. I think it is a complete mischaracterization of what they're trying to represent themselves as. And
Okay.
just as much as I don't think Colin Kaepernick hates the troops. I don't think he disrespects the veterans, but I do think he's a colossal moron for using that as his platform to try to further his to try to speak out about it. I just think he's an idiot for doing it at that time.
Could it have gone better?
Absolutely, if he had done it at a different time. You mean
Like instead of when everybody was looking at him?
Everybody's looking at football players when they're off the field too, all the time.
Only when they're beating their girlfriends or something.
Nah, man, J.J. Watt gets looked at a lot for doing good stuff.
No, that's just the NFL's J.J. Watt charity commercials that you're seeing.
I think it is that way because you think it's that way. I don't think that's true though. I don't think that makes it true.
We'll see. And, I'm not an expert on the Black Lives Matter movement, but I don't know. We'll have to get into that.
That'll be a good one.
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah. Intelligent life almost certainly exists in other solar systems and other galaxies.
Definitely.
I mean,
Definitely.
It could. I don't think it does, but there's no, I know, because it's so vast, it's got to be. I just don't see that as being a valid argument or a valid reason as to why it's almost certain.
What about the fact that that life arose here on Earth at as early as it could have in Earth's geological history?
Mm-hmm.
Almost immediately, and we're talking about 4 billion years ago, not 5,000.
young Earthers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6,000, I guess.
But
yeah, it was immediately, but bam, life, self-replicating molecules.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't think that points to the fact that there is life somewhere else.
Well, we don't have any reason to think that there are, situations or molecules or things that are taking place here that aren't taking place in those other.
I will tell you. I will tell you this: proving a negative is almost impossible. So for me, for me to say, it doesn't exist would be much harder than for you to say it probably does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it makes way more sense to say what I'm saying.
Yeah, which in turn means people really can't disprove the existence of God either. So I just led you into that like a child into a free candy van. How is that free candy, kid?
Because I'm not an atheist.
No, you're not. That's true.
But I'm not an agnostic either.
What's in between?
And I'm not a believer. I know, right? It's a riddle.
Yeah,
you have to figure it out.
That's kind of cool. We'll go over that stuff. So since we got to the end of the list, we'll close it out. I think next week is going to be pretty cool. We're gonna have 2 debates. They'll each be about 15 minutes. So the first one will be on gun control, and then the second one will be on healthcare as a right. So those will be the two.
Just healthcare. How about that?
Okay. Yeah. So gun control and healthcare.
Gun control and healthcare.
Yeah, and then next week it'll just be you and I. So Brian won't be on until episode 3.
Just be you and me.
Yeah. Next week will be you and I, and Brian won't be on yet. But we will have a special guest caller who's going to call in. Who might be able to shed.
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I said Brian Simpson from the outset, but if I didn't, it's Brian Simpson. You can check it out on YouTube. Brian Simpson, comedian. He's hilarious. So
it's BS with Brian Simpson, right?
That's true. That's his podcast.
Yeah, BS with Brian Simpson. Okay, so we've got that coming up, and then we've got. I'm pretty excited. We're gonna have a special section. That Scott's going to be doing every week. That we'll unveil it. We'll unveil it next week.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty exciting. All right. Well, I think that covers everything that we were going to talk about in this show. I'm really excited. I think this show is going to be obviously this was a little. I feel like it was a little all over the map, but it's the intro show. I think starting next week it'll be things will be pretty regimented, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to get in the debates.
I'll have Andrew under the thumb, so.
Yeah, dude, that'll be pretty cool, man. I'm pretty excited about it. If you notice, we're playing our outro music here. We made this music. Obviously, it's royalty free because it sounds like it cost 7 cents to make this song. But yeah, so what our plan is, we'd like, as we get more listeners, I'm sure there will be people all over, and some of these people are musicians, and they have their own music or they make music, and we'd like people to, if they don't mind, to send their music in that we can use as an intro, outro for that show. Not only will it give us royalty-free music to use, to change it up a little bit so you're not always hearing this Nintendo Entertainment System Contra song. And then you can hear some real music. You can hear new music. You get to know some new artists. And if you send your music in, you'll obviously get plugged, and maybe your stuff will be heard on a platform that you've never been on before. So if you have anything like that, just email it to us at redvbluepodcast@gmail.com. You got anything, Scott?
No, nothing to add to that. Just looking forward to next week, and definitely, the week after that when we have our first visitor.
Oh man, yeah, that's gonna be pretty exciting. So, all right, man. Well, time to take off.
All right. Well, have a good night, Andrew. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, you too, Scott.